Oh, okay, so if you add salt to the wine of chill broth, the spell is complete and something completely unexpected will occur. Well, guess it's worth a shot. I mean, how can I have the Ancient Book of MacGuffin and not see what I'm working with? Well, I guess that's a dud.
Hey, Derek, can I use your bathroom?
Oh, hey, Dad. Yeah, you know where it is. Dad? Dad?
I am not Dad. I am Dadborg. I am Dadborg.
Oh no, the Ancient Book of MacGuffin. He said something completely unexpected would happen. I guess turning my bathroom into a cybernetics unit would be up there on the list. I'm so sorry about this, Dad, but you have to admit this is better than the time you were possessed by an Australian.
Dadborg must fulfill directive.
It's not take over the world, is it?
That is not Dadborg directive.
Well, that's good news. And if you fulfill your directive, will you turn back into my dad?
Affirmative.
Well, thanks for small favors, Ancient Book of MacGuffin. So tell me, what is your directive?
Dadborg directive to consume large quantity lactic acid based bovine product for analysis and rendering.
Wait, so your directive is to eat several different types of cheeses? That's, let's say, a very specific directive.
Dadborg does not make directive. Dadborg follow directive.
Okay, I can help you with that, but first... Hey y'all, I'm Derek and welcome back to Bad Movie Fry Night. And tonight, we're looking at one of the cheesiest movies out there, ManBorg. ManBorg is a movie that's either a notoriously good time, or you've never heard of it before. The principal filming for this movie took place in 2009 and was in post-production for 2 years before finally being released in 2011. Okay, honestly, there's not much behind-the-scenes information about this film, but I still love it, and I think it's a perfect film for a Bad Movie Fry Night. And for 2 reasons. One being, my dad has to eat a lot of cheese in order to return to being a human, and 2, it actually relates to the film. We're making a great treat to go along with this movie. Fried mac and cheese balls.
Cheese. Balls.
Yes, there's cheese in them. Several types, actually. So how about you just back off and let me do my thing? So the first thing we're going to do is boil some salted water and cook a pound of macaroni elbows until they're al dente. So let's get started. Our movie starts off with a scrawl explaining the situation. I'm sorry, but if you've seen this movie before, you'd start laughing right now too. Anyways, we learn that humanity has been in a war with hell, and only a few freedom fighters survive, including a team of brothers who are all fighting against the forces of darkness. And then...
Remember, it's not about the killing, it's about family.
I'm sorry, but any sincere emotion we're supposed to be feeling is completely ruined by the acting and the ADR. So, we're finally confronted by the evil Count Draculon. Yeah, there's a lot of Dracula references in this movie, but it really doesn't add or detract from the story, it's just there. Anyways, he kills the guy who was shot and...
They taste so much better when they still have hope.
I'm sorry, it's just so ridiculous. Well, the brother who wasn't shot decides to attack Draculon. That ends well with the title sequence. This is just great. God, I love this movie. So now I'm working on my cheese sauce. Now this is my sister's recipe, and she does something a bit different than I do. Instead of using a normal bechamel like I do, she makes something called a vegemel. So in this pan I got 10 ounces of butter mixing with a 16-ounce block of Velveeta. Now that it's all melted, I'm going to add a cup and a half of half and half. And just mix that around. And then after that all comes together, I'm going to add 3 different types of shredded cheeses. So I've got Muenster, cheddar, and Monterrey Jack. And I'm just going to add it a handful at a time, stirring constantly until it incorporates.
Dadborg can assist you in assimilation of cheeses. Okay. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but how about you go look at birds or something and leave this to me? Dadborg recalls enjoying watching birds. Dadborg will very directive and go watch birds.
Well, let's get back to the movie while I clean up. Okay, well, the soldier that was killed wakes up as a cyborg in a CGI hellscape. And while he tries to get his bearings, he runs into...
My name is Number One Man.
Wait, I know that voice. That's Kyle Hebert. Now, I don't mean the actor on screen. His name is Ludwig Lee. But that voice is Kyle Hebert. He's the narrator of the English dubbing of Dragon Ball Z. I hope that's enough cred for me to keep my nerd card. Anyways, Number One Man is a gladiator prisoner who's on the lam, and as he tries to escape, is captured because of ManBorg. They're both taken to the prison, where they meet the Baron, who's the warden of the prison/arena, Justice, an Australian punk rock gladiator, and Mina, his sister. And then we learn our main character's name.
ManBorg. My name is ManBorg.
Wow, I've heard of crazier ways of coming up with names, but very few come to mind. Now, in comes the Baron, who seems smitten with Mina, and he says it's time for everyone to go into the arena, where they fight creatures that... Anyways, the battle commences, and it plays out like an anime fighting game, and ManBorg goes completely mental and has a spasm on the floor, while everyone else takes care of the battle. Okay, so now that the noodles are done and the sauce is done, I'm just going to put them all together. But first, I'm beating 2 eggs, and I'm tempering them with some of the cheese sauce. This way, the eggs get warmer before you add them to too hot substances without curdling. Okay, so now that the eggs have reached temperature, what we're going to do is pour these onto the noodles. Then we're going to pour the sauce onto the noodles. And then we're going to mix it all up and put it in a pan. And now that it's all mixed up, we're going to cover it with some tin foil and put it in the fridge for at least 2 hours. But for best results, leave it overnight so that it can stiffen up and keep the shape of the balls. Actually, that's got me wondering. Dadborg?
Analysis. Subject. Cardinal. Male. Red plumage. So noble.
Dadborg! Hey Dadborg, the mac and cheese has to rest for a few hours, but I really don't want to wait that long. Do you happen to have like a temporal manipulator in your hardware?
Affirmative. What is the amount of time to elapse for mac and cheese?
Let's say 4 hours to be safe.
Affirmative. Mac and cheese allocated 4 hours. Mac and cheese. Complete.
Awesome! Thanks, Dadborg!
So, after ManBorg's fumble in the arena, the remaining gladiators don't trust him and push him away. Meanwhile, the Baron comes in to flirt with Mina, but gets cold feet, which leads to...
I mean, I don't know. You can process human emotion. What do you think? Because sometimes I feel like she doesn't even know that I exist.
It's very rare for a movie to give us insights into our villains' insecurities.
So they make ManBorg fight the champion. It ends well, with ManBorg victorious, but then ManBorg is taken by Dr. Scorpius for analysis, where we learn the history of our main character.
Because I built you.
And that's not the only Deus Ex Machina we have in this one scene.
Yes, we also learned that Dr. Scorpius created ManBorg because he's the reason the minions of hell conquered the Earth.
I had to. For science.
Yes, science is the reason you had to open the gates of hell. I think someone needs to take away your science card.
And he allows ManBorg to escape, but not before handing him a future cassette. ManBorg frees the rest of the gladiators, and they escape out of the arena. Then the Baron comes to ask Mina for a date, and there's this scene.
Sometimes I think the universe wants me to be alone.
This movie is so stupid. I love it.
And Dr. Scorpius is killed by the Count, and the gladiators make their way to a Hooverville.
There's burger wrappers everywhere.
And number one man takes them to a hideout, protected by a dwarf, and Justice decides to make macaroni and cheese.
So now you see why I chose mac and cheese balls? So now that the mac and cheese is cold, we're just going to shape them out with an ice cream scoop.
Dadborg will assist in the formation of cheese product.
Well, I gotta admit, that is really efficient. So let's go ahead and dredge these. Now this is the common 3 dredge method. First, we're going to put it in some flour that I've mixed with some cayenne pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, chili powder, and salt and pepper. Then into egg. Then into just regular plain breadcrumbs. Set them off to the side.
So in the hideout, we learn Justice can't read, and Mina is confronted by a vision of the Count beckoning her to come back to the arena to save her friend Lucy. Oh yeah, her friend Lucy was taken by the Count and turned into a half-breed hellspawn. So she leaves, and ManBorg puts in the future cassette and gets instructed by Dr. Scorpius. So they find out Mina's gone back to the arena, and there's a training montage, because every great movie has a training montage. And finally, as they head out to defeat the big bads...
It's not about the killing. It's about family. We're a family now.
No, trust me, it's about the killing in this movie. So let's go ahead and fry these guys up. Oil on a high heat, and then we're just going to fry them in batches.
Dadborg has collected that the uncommon wren. It is a majestic bird.
Good job there, Dadborg.
So the gladiators storm the arena, where Mina is already fighting Lucy, and ManBorg runs off to face the Count. The story jumps around between the gladiators and how they're fighting, but let's concentrate on ManBorg. He meets the Count, and they have an epic battle in the arena, where Mina comes in and gets hurt, and ManBorg kills the Count. So they turn to Mina, and ManBorg sacrifices his life to save her. As he dies, he is confronted by Dr. Scorpius, who brings a special guest. His brother. And ManBorg's brother has a quick message from beyond.
There's no heaven.
Well, that would open up a bunch of arguments about how there is a hell and no heaven, but just the nonchalant way he says it is just hilarious. So, ManBorg dies, and the rest of our heroes pose as they prepare to fight the forces of hell.
And that's the end of the movie. And our mac and cheese balls are ready. We're just going to serve them hot, piled up in a bowl with a side of ranch. Let's see if this is good enough.
There is a flamingo on the front lawn. Such a wonderful specimen.
Actually, it's made of plastic. Here, fulfill your directive and give me my dad back.
Texture is creamy and enjoyable. Endorphins released. Activating pleasure center. Neuronet. Oh, happiness. Acceptable amounts of protein and carbohydrates. Analysis complete. Directive complete. Return to cybernetic pod for disassembly.
Well, if this teaches me anything, it's that messing with the Ancient Book of MacGuffin is something that should not be taken idly. So, final thoughts on the film.
This movie is, in fact, the first movie to be an actual bad movie Fry Night. I found this movie in the discount bin at a Best Buy when I lived in San Diego, and my friends and I came to my place, I fried some chicken, we drank beer, and put this movie in. As soon as it came on, we did not stop laughing. We were all grown adults, and we were laughing like madmen and forgot our problems for an evening. I may be a bit biased, but I love this film. It's completely pointless, the dialogue is terrible, the special effects are laughable, and the whole story is just a mishmash of whatever the writers/director thought would be cool. And that's what makes this a great movie. It's nothing you need to think about, it's just hilarious. I highly recommend seeing this film.
So gather up your friends, make some really good food, turn off your brain, and just laugh.
Derek, I said I would never come back to your house, and I don't know why I don't listen to myself.
Oh, come on, Dad, don't be like that. Here, have a mac and cheese ball and just chill.
You're lucky you're a good cook.
Well, now that that's all taken care of, thanks for stopping by, thanks for tuning in, and come back for some more Bad Movie Friday Night.